I don't know if you know this about me, but at 17, I got shot in the right side of my face.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to get into. I'm interested in this one very much so because you was 17 or 19, which one?
17. Yeah.
17, right? And it was from a stray bullet?
It was from a stray bullet, correct.
I listened to, it was on your YouTube, and there was one quote that I pulled from it that I directly wanted to talk to you about. So on the clip, you said at that time, right, you got shot, stray bullet, and, you know, literally near life-death experience, right?
For sure.
But later, you ended up saying and calling it a blessing in disguise, and you accepted that.
Right.
So how did that change to be like, because that's something, you know, to go from nearly dying to being like, no, and actually when I sit back and think about it, it was actually a blessing in disguise. Like,
it was it was that moment that I think actually gave me the understanding of what life actually was. And that's the bugged out part. And the more I get older and wiser, the more I'm learning how to dissect this thing that happened in my life. Yeah. Because I live with the bullet every day. It never was removed from my face.
So it's there.
So it's in my nasal cavity. It's a part of me to the point where I don't think about it most of the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Except for when I talk about it like this, right? Yeah. But I say that because it was a blessing in disguise, because what it did is it kind of like opened a portal in my mind that told me, all right, you're already in clubs, and you only 15 years old. You're already performing in clubs. You're in ciphers. You're doing like live performance video stuff. You got music videos out, demos out. I was part of a group then, right? We were kids, right? Yeah. And we were doing our best for sure. But there's an extra gear you can go, and a few extra gears, right?
For sure, yeah.
And when that happened to me, that was like my moment of awareness that said, oh, I was in Pennsylvania at that time. So the truth of the matter is I had my heart in Pennsylvania, which is my mother, my siblings, right? My stepfather, like my dog at the time, right? My high school sweetheart at the time, right? All of these elements. And this happens, and it changes the course of things, because when I get out a few days later, I maybe take about a couple weeks to heal, and I move back to New York.
Damn.
You know, it's not like me and this high school sweetheart were already broken up. There were fragments of pieces on the board. Yeah. My family was really the biggest sacrifice, right? Yeah. Because the time that I'm spending away from them all these years in order to accomplish what I'm working on now, right? And manifest these things that have came into fruition. So for me, that was the biggest sacrifice. But it was an understanding that I had with myself at a very young age. I don't know why I was thinking like this per se, but the understanding was like, yo, I know my mother is such a pillar in my life that just for my safety, this moment is going to make her always want to protect me and always want to shelter me. And I understood that behavior, even though loved ones care for you, that behavior in some manner could be enabling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
To the point where I end up a 37-year-old man and I'm still living with my mother and I'm stressed and I don't got a job, or I don't want to go outside because I'm scared of almost being killed again or something like that. I
mean, both ends, right? She's probably scared, you scared, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So I was scared of being enabled more, and I knew my mom was always going to love me and hold me down, right? Yeah. But I sat there and made that conscious choice of, yo, I need to go to New York and really put this thing into a different gear and go all out and build a foundation for myself to be able to stand on, so that if all resources go, I'm able to continue to do it.
Damn. Yeah.
You know, and if I could do it in New York, I could do this shit anywhere. Like,
for sure,
I believe it. It's a super expensive city. You gotta have hustle and bustle. The 24 hours, everything. You know, so you gotta jump into that different mode. And I made that decision. And at first, it was real tough, man. I bet. I was dealing with things I couldn't even identify at this age, right? PTSD, trauma of all sorts, depressions. I looked out of whack. I felt out of whack. I'm working jobs that in New York City, there's constructions and scaffolds, and whenever big loud noises happen, I'm catching like flash moments.
Triggering.
And I didn't even know how to identify it, and because I'm from the hood, you know, people told me to go to a therapist, but when I tried to do that, it felt like invasive, felt like I was being judged, you know, so I was like, you know what, I had to internalize it and like fight that war within and kind of like deal with it myself. But me flying away from the nest and learning how to like grow and fly on my own, it's like the mother teaches the bird to fly, but then on the first course, but then it's like you got to go on this one by yourself. I think that is what I was doing. In a metaphor or whatever, and that's why it was a blessing.